Hi students, welcome back to biology online classes. Hope all of you are doing good at home. Let us see what is the topic for today. In the last video, you studied about the first component of human circulatory system or in the transport in animal chapter, that is the human heart and its associated parts. Hope all of you really understood the structure of human heart and the parts in it. So let us see the topic for today, that is the next component called blood. So what is blood? As you know, blood is the liquid medium in our body through which the materials are getting transported all around the body. So the first test tube shows a test tube full of blood. After few time or after few minutes, you can see the test tube and the content will be like this. In the second test tube, you can see a light yellowish color liquid at the upper part and some red color things at the down. In between there will be a transparent layer. So what are all these things? It's written as plasma, WBCs and platelets and the RBCs. What are these terms? We are going to see all these terms in this chapter. So the blood. The average adult has about 5 liters of blood in their body. So blood is flowing through the blood vessels. The main functions of the blood is to transport the materials all around the body, including essential elements. That means the digested food molecules, hormones, waste products, oxygen, carbon dioxide, heat, etc. Now let us see the functions of blood. Blood is known as the fluid of growth because it transports the nutrients, that means the nourishment molecules from the digestions. Already we studied about the digested food molecules. So remember the points. So the nourishments from the digestion and the hormones which are getting released from the glands throughout the body. Next, blood is also known as the fluid of health because it is transporting the disease-fighting substances to tissues and from the tissues the waste products to the kidneys and from the kidneys these are getting expelled to the outside or expelled to outside the body. Next is the major function of the body, that is transporting oxygen from the lungs to the body tissues and removing carbon dioxide from the tissues and bringing it back to the lungs. So let us see what are the percentage of blood components in it. 55% of the blood components are the blood plasma. It is a straw-colored liquid in which the blood cells are suspended. 45% of the cells or the blood contains different types of cells, and these cells are red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. Red blood cells or RBCs are otherwise known as erythrocytes. White blood cells, WBCs, are otherwise known as leukocytes, and the platelets. Platelets are otherwise known as thrombocytes. See the structure of red blood cells or erythrocytes. These are biconcave disc-shaped structure. Already we compared the structure of the red blood cells as the donuts. So here you can see the structure of red blood cells. These are very tiny and red in color. You can see the structure of red blood cells under the microscope. It will be like this. We will see such specimens under the microscopes once when you are back. So these are the cells without nucleus. So when these cells are lacking the nucleus, in that space it can fill the hemoglobin, and hemoglobin can combine with the oxygen molecule, and the transport of oxygen molecule will be more efficient by the red blood cells. Red blood cells normally make up 40 to 50% of the total blood volume. So again, the main function of the red blood cells is the transport of oxygen and transport of carbon dioxide. So when the question comes, what is the main function of red blood cells? You can say it transports oxygen in the body. So from where these red blood cells are getting produced? These are getting produced from the bone marrow of our bone or from the stem cells in the bone marrow. So next is about hemoglobin. It is the pigment which gives red color to the blood, which contains iron in it. The hemoglobin is having the affinity to the oxygen molecule, or the iron can combine with the oxygen molecule. So that is the reason why the hemoglobin and the blood transport, or it transports the oxygen in it. Because of the oxygenated red blood cells, oxygen molecules, red blood cells are having bright red color. Next is about white blood cell. White blood cells are also known as leukocytes. You can see how the white blood cells looks like. So there are 5 different types of white blood cells. It is mainly classified into 2, agranular and granular. In the agranular types, you can see another term like lymphocytes and monocytes. And in the granular part, you can see basophils, neutrophils and eosinophils. See the structure. Lymphocytes will be look like this, and monocytes will be like this. You can see like a bean shape. And basophils will be like this. You can see some dots or granules. That's why the name came granular. But here in the agranular, there will be no granules present in the cell. Here in all these 3 pictures, you can see the dots. Because of these dots or granules, it is known as granular type. Then next is about neutrophils. Then next is eosinophil. So eosinophils are very less in percentage. Neutrophils are more. Then next comes lymphocytes. Then basophils and monocytes. The function of each one will be discussed later. So under the microscope, along with the red blood cells, you can see the WBC cells types as like this. Next is about platelets. Platelets, you can see in between the red blood cells and white blood cells, there are some broken pieces of blood cells, you can see. And these broken pieces are known as platelets. So, these are the cell fragments without any nucleus that works with the blood clotting. So, what is the main function of these platelets? Blood clotting. So, let us go back to WBC cells. What will be the main function of these leukocytes or WBCs? These are the blood vessels which prevents the disease-causing pathogens. It kills or destroys by swallowing or destroying these pathogens in our body. That means these are the blood cells which provides us immunity. So once again come back to platelets. Platelets are associated with the blood clotting. So when bleeding occurs, after a few time you can see the blood is forming as a clot. That is because of the presence of these platelets in our body. So next is about the liquid part, that is the plasma. So this is the part which is very watery, and in this water the sugar, fat, protein and salt and all other sediments are getting, or all other substances are getting transported, and it carries the blood cells also. About 95% of the blood plasma contains water in it. So once again you can have a look here. The blood test tube full of blood, 55% is having plasma in it. Then 1% or 1 to 2% will be white blood cells and platelets, and rest of the things, or 45%, will be red blood cells. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will continue with the blood vessels, the last component in the human circulatory system. Have a nice day.